Huge energy coming off Met Dobby from the boys. I know Josh is, jet lagged here, but he was buzzing about, all everything going on at Met Dobby and at Breakpoint. You guys had, massive news coming out last couple days as well, so we're excited to just kinda dive into everything. But we were talking a little bit about this, just before we push live. How was Met Dobby? How was Breakpoint? Like, general takeaways.
I think Met Dabby was excellent. It was more intimate. It was a smaller thing. Congrats to the Meteora team. Shout out to Soju, Zen, and their whole team for putting on their first event. I think it was a great success. I think it was very intimate. We got to meet a lot of the people that we talked to online, and it's just great to see everyone offline. I think people were quite surprised how tall I was, which is a good compliment. And then Solana did an amazing jump, breakpoint, and it was huge. It was like, it was literally like NBA kind of like all stars. So amazing. The stadium was great. Abu Dhabi was amazing. Um, it was just a bit overwhelming, to be honest. It was a bit random in terms of it wasn't easy to meet people that you want because there's just way too many people. But amazing job to Solana. I think, even though after 10-10, this energy, they still managed to pull off. Everyone seemed to be buzzing, energized, and I think Solana doing an amazing job. So congrats to Lily and her team. Managed to catch her for dinner, and she's
Yeah, how did
amazing. And
that go?
amazing. I mean, like obviously, she was so busy. Like there's lots of people getting her time. It's just lucky to be fortunate to have some time with her, and she's just they're gonna rock 2026. I think Meteor are gonna do really well as well. And also special shout out to MCG and to meet the boys in person, which is great. It was amazing that Josh and Dom only met for the first time in real life, so that was a bit strange for me. But happy that everyone got on. We had a good time. But just quick small story is like Breakpoint really was Breakpoint because when you left, Josh, that night, was it the next night? It was the next night. I slept for 20 hours straight and I didn't set an alarm. And um John had to like call me in the room. Everyone thought I was like dead because I usually like reply quite often. So when I woke up, I just thought it was like in the morning, but I actually slept 20 hours. So it was a really break point for me. But
You didn't wake
uh
up like in the bathtub or anything like this.
no, 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 no. I'm not that lightweight. But and then last night I only slept 2 hours. So I averaged out 11 hours in per night for the last 2 nights. So it worked out well. Anyway, I knew that we had good news today, so managed to catch you guys before I board my flight.
Yeah, of course. Really quick with Lily, what kind of things did you talk to the head of Solana about? Did you say like, "Oh, Sora is the best platform in the world and you should pay attention," or what kind of discussions did you have?
I talked a lot about like what they're looking at. Obviously, they know what Soar's doing. Solana are very supportive. Meteor is also very supportive, so they know what Soar's doing, and Soar's like a very novel and ingenious way. Hopefully, that will pave the way for other launch pads and the DRP standards. So they're very supportive. But to be honest, I think they've got so many things going on that they're really big, frying big fish. So that's obviously not their priority. They've got like really big things, big ticket things to handle, and so it should be. But I'm sure in 12 months' time, Soar will be in a much better place than it is today in terms of growth.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Awesome, and
yeah, sorry, go ahead, Chill.
no, I was just gonna say kinda what makes you the most bullish on SOAR? Like, what for you is the p component that can drive that growth?
So first of all, the new DRP standard is, the main thing. But I think ultimately, as Josh can attest to, ultimately for me, from a Web 2 standpoint, from investing over 20 years, the main thing for me is the founding team, the management. So they've got really good guys. Obviously, John's a amazing CPO and founder, and they have Tom and Sean and the other guys involved in the team. So they have a very good team. So I think they can pivot and do things that are needed. And obviously, one of the main topics for today's call is the fact that CPT, being the first company we we actually burnt or in the process of burning the coins this week. And that's through constant conversation and dialogue with a lot of the token holders in the community. And we actually listened, thought very hard, and thought, we should bring the standard to the same as the new batch, which is good for everyone. And now everyone obviously saw the good news and taken action. And just super privileged and honored that people are still supporting us and they see the vision. And we have more good news coming up before the festive period.
Oh wow, more good news. Okay, we're gonna dig into that in a little bit as well. I really wanted to ask that question because you see good ideas fall flat on their face, many times, right? So I'm glad to see that you're also you not only like the DRP standard, but you also like the people behind the idea, the people that are actually pushing this forward. So I think that was a really important thing to note. But walk us through the CPT burn. That's a big news, and I know you have more coming up.
And maybe Patrick, as a tangent to
Sure.
this, is the 93%. Whose tokens were those? Like whose tokens are being burned here?
CPT.
Yeah, I know
Impact.
CPTs, but are those held? But were those like allocated to the business itself, or were those
Yes.
holdings that you had? Like, I think people want to know of like
It's
who held
the it's
those
the
tokens.
it's the company. The company.
Got it. Okay.
So basically, to be honest with you, it's for our purposes, there was no difference because we weren't going to sell those tokens anyway. It's just that I think a lot of Web3 holders, they don't understand. I'm not really trying to mock anyone, but the Web3 guys are not as used to the Web2 equity or sorry, the Web2 sort of structure, as well as what they see in meme coins, crypto, and so forth. So this was just a way to showcase that um, there will be no sell off of this 93%. So what we're saying to them is we're not going to sell anyway, so let's just burn it. And there are no other extra tokens, so they know what the pool is, the finite pool, and what they're doing for the future token launches is there won't be this 93% present, so this problem won't happen. So what happens is the first few launches that followed CPT will end up burning like we did here, and then that will be able to streamline and follow the new DRP 1.0 standard. That's just the rationale behind what happened.
Got it. Yeah, and I think also on the like different screeners, it shows up because the screeners just see the data. They don't look into the
Correct.
tokenomics or documentation and be like, oh, well, that's not going to get issued because of a voting mechanism. And there's, a 30-day kind of withholding period before a decision can be made, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah. Okay, cool. Go ahead, Chill.
Yeah, so I know you mentioned that you have some other things that you're working on earlier. You mentioned that this was just the beginning. So I guess going into 2026, going into the rest of the year, even like what are you most excited about? What are you guys working on? And yeah, just kind of walk us through that.
I think today the main excitement we should treasure and be grateful that the burn is happening. There's still 1 week before Christmas, and obviously people celebrate and spend time with family, and hopefully everyone's safe. Wanted to send some prayers to what happened in Australia. Very, very sad. Depending whatever
Yes.
religion, culture people believe in, but it's just a very sad day, and hope everyone tries to recover from that as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, there's a lot of unfortunate events happening. But having said that, the end of the year hasn't happened yet, and as Josh knows me, a bit better now, like we don't stop, and there will be no stopping, and we won't stop, and we will do everything to progress Impulsor as much as we can. So we still have roughly 15, 16 days left. We're going to do our best to maximize the time there, but every day for the next 4 days and next week, we will have news that will make the business bigger and better. And hopefully people will understand that this is not a speculation, and this is a project that is long term, and the team will execute and not just talk. So hopefully we'll show you some things this week.
I love that. You have this picture here of some sort of device at a high level. I don't know if you can give us a little more tidbit into this ominous positive image here.
Yeah, so this the product is called Life Finder, Life Finder CPT. Um, I'm not going to go so much detail today, but we will tell people what it is, what it does, and how we're selling it, and how much potential this has. Um, Today, I won't. I guess I'll tease everyone a little bit more. This is for industrial use. This is for commercial use, and the we could be selling hundreds of thousands of these devices globally quite quickly.
Nice.
And
And do they
and
have a unit cost per each, like roughly?
We do, but I can't really disclose that until I have to leave that for Roman.
Fair.
It's not my
I'll wait for a Roman
mandate.
Telegram
Mm,
message
Yeah,
then.
yeah. My mandate is just attending crypto conferences and
Got it.
drinking water and green tea with you.
got it, got it. I guess the question I had just off that, you said, these things can be like sold very quickly. Just coming from just generally, not even just about CPT specifically, but just generally, like how is that possible in the business world? Like, is there connections that need to be made before? Is there contracts that need to be signed before? Like, how can
So
something go from idea to being sold like that?
because we have a team, the sales team working behind the scenes, talking to the Fortune 500 companies behind that will be our clients. It's just that, our style is we want to have a solid contract and things signed before we talk about them. So there's no point talking about, hey, we're talking to these guys and nothing happens. We rather like announce it when the contract is signed.
Wow. So these conversations with Fortune 500 companies have already been taking place. It's just a matter of you guys approach. You guys are just kind of wanting to approach this in a way that's not just, you know, hey, the contract is signed, not it's going to be signed. Got it.
Correct. Just the
Got it.
same as, this burn today. We left it until today to mention it. But obviously last week we made a quick preview so that people are anticipating something's coming.
Awesome. And I saw that you guys also posted about Dr. Julian Levallois. I'm not sure if
Yes.
that's how I'm pronouncing his last name correctly. Can you just give the audience a
I
little
think
bit of rundown for those who don't know?
I think yeah, I think your French is a bit better than mine, so I'm not even gonna attempt to either. Yes, so Julian is based in Geneva. He works for one of the universities there. But he's also very commercial. He's also head of one of the venture labs there, and he's the head of the CPT optical for Impulsor. So I'm arranging for a interview or podcast with you guys at some point, maybe this week or next week, so you guys can question him. He can tell you about your bio, what he's doing for us, and I think something very exciting is what he sees as the future of Impulsor products.
I would love to pick his brain. There's a ton of questions I'd have for him. I love digging into the technical side of things. So
Yes.
you guys have this product. In that tweet, in one of the other tweets, I think Josh, you had it up of that little device that you guys are coming out with. You
Yes.
said that's for the industrial side, and I think back to another tweet where you said in 12 months, the consumer side is going to be buzzing as well. Just from an approach, generally speaking, are you guys kind of using the industrial solutions as like a proof of concept and then building that out? I think you I'm building out the
No,
consumer side or
no, the separate products.
separate
The
products.
the
Okay.
con the consumer preview will probably be in January.
Wow. Wow. So this is like
Yeah.
coming up pretty fast. Okay.
Yeah.
This is huge news, and you're just kind of dropping it like, like it's nothing. I know you guys are working on a lot, and I love when founders come in and they're confident, they're passionate, and they're just relaying the facts like you are. But you're blowing my mind, but I just want to let you know that you're blowing my mind right now. But um,
Thank you, Joe.
yeah. But Josh, any questions that you had on your side?
I
I know you
see.
had a
If you don't
few.
follow, guys, if you don't follow Roman, go follow at Product EMP. Roman is the product guy behind CPT, but he said the smart sensor market is experiencing unprecedented growth and the opportunities for companies position, blah, blah, blah. Is this, I believe this is in relation to that device that is shown on the Impulsor X account is the
Correct.
sensor.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
So if I read, I'm just trying to skim this to see.
That
Yes,
why this
usually,
matters
guys.
for Impulsive Plug is
Yes,
important.
exactly. So usually, guys, when you want to like, don't take my posts as the main port of reference. Actually, usually Roman's stuff is more. He's sort of leading up to where the real news is. So his stuff has all the important things. I'm just like the photo taker, you know.
I've
The
been
photo.
I've been reading some of his threads that he's posted quite a few threads of like very very like
Yeah,
detailed diving into the tech. But the
correct.
smart sensor revolution is here according to Roman, and I'm sure that's going to be loved by you guys.
IoT is not like necessarily a new concept, but was there like to some extent the limiting factor was like how do you power all these IoT edge devices?
I don't think I'm going to say too much until January.
Okay.
We know all the right questions. We know all the right questions.
Yeah, you got
Oh
me.
man.
All right. Patrick, we don't want to take too much of your time pre-flight. Any other thoughts that you want to leave off this quick drop in with?
Yeah, I was not planning to return to the States until 26, but I just got a phone call just before I spoke to you guys that I might have to come back. So watch this space. That is
Wow.
obviously Impulsor related. Yeah. So could be a big one. But I don't know if I'm coming yet. But if I do, I'll let everyone know. But definitely we have more news coming this week, and hope everyone stays tuned to MCG Live and also to Impulsor and my X account.
Awesome. Well, we'll cover it live in real time and let us know what city you're in. And yeah, maybe we'll be nearby somewhere. So, all right,
No, I
Patrick.
can't tell you. I can't tell you, Josh. Otherwise, I have to kill you. You know.
Yeah, okay. It's like Washington, D.C. Maybe. I don't know. Who knows? Yeah. Anyway, see you, Patrick. Have a safe flight. Thanks for hopping on.
Take care, everyone.
All right, Patrick,
see
take
ya.
care. All right, guys, that was Patrick Sang,
Yeah,
CEO
wild.
of Impulsor, live on MCG. He's at the airport, but he wanted to drop in, share some things with us, and we were covering CPT live today, so we figured, hey, why not just go back live again, cover some stuff with Patrick, and glad we did because that's pretty huge. He said
Yeah.
January 2026, so there's a lot here happening for CPT, not only just the burn, but actually like things that are relevant to the business itself and in its growth. So definitely want to keep watching CPT. Stay locked in on the news. You probably want to keep an eye on Roman's Twitter account. Like I've been reading some of Roman's threads that he's been doing. Very like he is able to elegantly explain he's able to elegantly explain kind of the vision and the tech behind Impulsor and put it together in a way that's really digestible. And if you want, Josh, I can actually pull up the CPT chart as well, just in case.
Yep. All right, here we go. I was lagging for a second there. Yeah, go for it. I mean, look,
Got you.
beautiful candle today. Absolutely beautiful candle. This thing is the only thing in crypto that is going up. Also note,
Literally.
the liquidity pools here are USDC denominated, so I think there might be a little less volatility. With same thing with the ownership tokens from MetaDAO, which are USDC denominated. But yeah, what a stud. Honestly, look, I don't know what Patrick's got up his sleeve, but if this ends up being, a technology that's really exciting with large applications, both, domestically, consumer, and militarily, or something like that. And they end up getting really big contracts, and it becomes a national security priority with all the platitudes. That would be pretty cool for on-chain token holders. So gotta love the name.
Man, love the drop in from Patrick here. Oh, hold on, let me check something real quick. CPT is a what a stud. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Um, yeah, so glad we got to interview him real quick. Lot of information, a lot of stuff to look forward to. Keep an eye on that space, and you want to keep an eye on MCG. We'll be breaking all that news here live as usual. Um,
All right, GM.
GMCG, man. I didn't even realize you pulled me up. How are we doing, bro?
We're good. We're good. That was pre-stream with Patrick from CPT yesterday. That was a drop-in conversation. After our 2 or 3 hours of streaming, all of a sudden Patrick just popped into the MCG studio, and we decided to push live again because we thought, hey, this is important for ownership tokens, SOAR, etc. And sure enough, he dropped a bunch of alpha on MCG. It was great right at the end of the day. Dom, how you feeling, buddy, from
Ooh.
that hobby?
Jeez Louise, what an event. What a trip, dude. What a crazy trip. I got to meet Josh in person for the first time. Isn't that wild?
That is wild. We have some photos. I mean, I should post some, actually. Maybe I'll post some right now of you and I meeting for the first time. That was fun.
Yeah. Crazy event, dude. Abu Dhabi, or the UAE as a whole. I went to Dubai as well. You went to Dubai as well for a day, Josh.
Yeah.
Was just crazy. I mean, coming back to the States, I think just coming back to Western society as a whole is probably a big shock to you as it is to me. Just I did go and do a lot of experiences in Abu Dhabi, got to see a lot, as well as Dubai, and just like the innovation that they're pushing over there, the things they're trying to do, the cleanliness of the city, the cleanliness of everything. It's truly incredible. I mean, I'm not far from the Daytona racetrack here for the Daytona 500, and I couldn't help but think about it. I went to the racetrack in Abu Dhabi the other day for my final day there. I went to Warner Bros. Studio and Ferrari World, ironically, fully indoor amusement parks, the biggest in the world. Also incredible. But I was riding these little electric scooters around the racetrack, just around the perimeters of the racetrack, and it was so clean, so beautiful. And I thought, dude, if I was in Daytona walking around the Daytona 500, I'm up there pretty often. It would be homeless people cracked out on Fent, just trash everywhere, so ghetto. And the difference was just like
night and day.
insane.
I totally agree. I mean, you see a society that's locked in, pro innovation, pro growth. There's some maybe critiques around the foreign workers, but look, my wife's family, she has family that work there, and they are extremely happy and live a good quality of life. So I think those criticisms are kind of moot point when you're executing on a level like that. So yeah, I mean, Abu Dhabi was great. Glad you enjoyed it. Going to some charts. I mean, CPT, we talked about CPT at the start of stream, right here at this kind of dip. And then obviously the official announcement went out. If you're in an MCG Alpha, you actually got this announcement when I was still in Abu Dhabi, a couple days ago. You would have gotten this announcement in around here somewhere. And it was basically CPT migrating to SOAR Tokenomics 1.0 or DRP 1.0. Basically, what they've done is there currently is a 6% floating supply, and then there's 93% or 97% that is, kind of like locked. And I think what happened is on the token screeners and throughout crypto, I mean, people saw this big kind of locked supply, and they're like, they're not going to touch that because they don't know, they don't have the, they're not in the weeds. They're not in the SOAR documentation that says to them, hey, you can't just like unlock all these tokens and sell them on the market. But again, the data on chain doesn't understand those nuances. And so what SOAR did is said, hey, we're going to update this. we're going to make sure that these tokens are locked unless there is a vote and I believe a 30-day withholding period where people can kind of make decisions on what they want to do. So, Dom, I don't know if I summarized that correctly, but that's what moved the needle in CPT.
Yeah, dude, no doubt CBT's setting out to achieve something very big. Josh and I had plenty of time spent with Patrick over, the week we were in the UAE. And to say the least, Patrick has a very grand vision for CPT. There's a lot of exciting stuff coming. And yeah, I think you summed it up perfectly. This was a massive burn. They burned 90, what was it, 3% out of, or 94% out of circulation, whatever it was. And the truth is, Patrick came on and said it too. It's like, look, we are never going to issue more tokens. If you guys don't know, Patrick has a working relationship with SOAR. He's on the team to some capacity. And so, you got to understand the cases for SOAR. When I think about SOAR, there's a bull and bear case, right? And so my bear case is, well, first and foremost, you have Patrick, who's got a really good reputation, and he's not willing to sacrifice that, of course. And then, you have SOAR as a platform who wants to succeed, and they need success cases to do that, right? And I think Patrick being a part of the SOAR team to some capacity, as well as having this reputation, is very inclined to make sure CPT is successful. So with that framing going into it, it's like, well, is Patrick going to sabotage CPT ever, right? This is my bear case, by the way. And so like, it's like, no, the clear answer is no. And so when you see a burn of this capacity, reinforcing the fact that he's never going to release more tokens, and this was always something to just give access to the people and make a success case for SOAR, make a success case out of CPT, it becomes very clear that there's a lot of edge, I think, in taking this trade. Also being said, let's go through the bear case here on CPT. Okay. Bear case, and of course, this is early stage investments. You have to understand a lot of these end up going to zero. A lot of these end up failing. That's just the nature of the business. And so when you think about CPT, let's talk about the bear case for a second. Let's say this company struggles. They struggle to find product market fit. I think if you ask me, the last case ditch effort of Patrick is, okay, we'll do another raise, and we'll raise at 50 mil, 100 million valuation. I have the connections, I have the technology, I have the vision, I'm a good storyteller. And so I think the bear case is CPT goes out, and maybe if it struggles to get its feet off the ground, which we can see it already has some traction, it goes and raises much higher than the current price, right? So we see the FDV at sub 40 mil here. I think bear case is they raise at 50 to 100 mil as like a last ditch effort, which means the token probably should correspond with that. Bull case is very simple, right? You get to $500 million, or half a unicorn, or a unicorn valuation here, and you go to $500 million, $1 billion valuation. You sign some government contracts. The sector is a very difficult to value sector, so it can go that high. And then you have a token that does 100x plus from this point, right? So those are the bull case. That's the bear case and bull case. Either way, when I come to my conclusion, it's higher no matter what, right? Even if the company does have to run a last ditch effort, raise at a higher valuation, like, again, this equity structuring that Source basically enabled gives us a lot of upside. So I'm bullish CPT. I don't know if that was a spiel or a rant I needed to go on, but yeah, they're doing big things. Patrick's awesome.
Yeah, there's a couple products that he said are set for imminent release. One of them is this product here, which is a IoT sensor. And one of the core problems, IoT is not a new theme. It's been something talked about for 2 decades, but one of the limiting factors is the energy. Like, how do you power all these edge compute devices, which they're mini little computers that are picking up sensors? How do you power them? And this device is a solution to some of that for a specific application. And Roman actually in the Telegram talked about I think he said like they would have a $5,000 per month per contract per customer for something like this. So I don't know, you'd think you sign up 100 customers doing that across the US for things like monitoring pipelines and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, the money kind of starts to add up pretty quick. Then he mentioned about a consumer application, something that would, in a tweet, he said could be in every household or be in everyone's hands by the end of next year. And that's curious. Don't know what that is. He alluded a little bit to what that thing was yesterday, but I think in general, You have this really novel technology of power transfer. Other people have tried this. It looks like they will have a demo in the very new year of this actually working in practice. And you sign contract manufacturing deals with like the Massimo group that they already announced, and all of a sudden product is pumping out the door and revenues are flowing in. So yeah, I think go watch the stream from yesterday, the second one. Patrick talks a lot about these things, and again, if they're right in a big way. This is like one of those asymmetric bets where something like this, it's hardware, so it's difficult. It's engineering. It could have defense and government applications as well as private sector, and those types of businesses can be valued in the hundreds to billions of dollars. So
Yeah, no, I think it's very, very obvious from our conversation. There's many verticals that CPT is kind of going after here, and one of them hopefully sticks. So cool. There's a lot to talk about, man. I'm not sure if you saw in recent news in the Twitter sphere.
yeah, do you
The
want to
Avi.
pull up some crypto Twitter
Oh my
stuff?
gosh, dude, I got so much over the last week, but I've been super just like disconnected from the markets for the last week while I was in the UAE, and so I bookmarked a ton of stuff to go over. So I got a ton of tweets we can go over. That being said, we already know Avi Patel and Ben Pasternak have a very, very hostile relationship. Really interesting situation here. We saw this unfolding in real time, and I think I even mentioned it on stream here. But Ben Pasternak has been OTC selling his bag of Kled. Okay, and so if you think back to the original model that Believe ran this model where half the fees were distributed in tokens, the other half were distributed in Solana, right? For their like first version. Kled was on this version. And then half those fees to be paid out to Believe team, have to be paid out to the Kled team. So Kled ended up accumulating a decent amount of their own Kled position. And Ben Pasternak as well accumulated a decent amount of Kled position, which he said he would never sell. Well, we do know that Ben Pasternak has been selling over the counter and on the open market for the last couple weeks, just straight selling Kled. So we know Kled had this huge rollout, and it was interesting enough because I was looking through my saved tweets, and oh my goodness, this went viral on Twitter. I think over 600K views on the Patel tweet, if I can find it, talking about this new update that they're rolling out here. Yeah, so look, share this tab here. Kled V2, this is like an 8-minute monologue from Avi, kind of what they're doing. 700K impressions on this, right? So it did very, very well. And ultimately, long story short, based on this tweet that Avi put out, Ben Pasternak used this event to just completely sell his Kled position. It's not funny. I'm like a big Kled holder myself, and it's pretty ridiculous to see. But I'm not gonna read this. I'm gonna try to maybe skim over it for you guys because it was pretty crazy to see. So a message regarding Pasternak. I didn't want to make this post. Over the last 7 days straight, Ben Pasternak has been market selling millions of Kled tokens via DCA every second of the day, directly during our largest app release and update, plus a bear market volumes. For the transparency of our holders, I believe I'm responsible for the full story. Ben originally owned over 6% of Kled as part of the original fee agreement. Blah, blah, blah. Shortly after, nonetheless, Avi Patel tried to arrange OTC buyers to buy this Kled from Ben, so he didn't have to, market sell it. Obviously, Ben did not cooperate with this, and this is news that we know has been ongoing for a while. I think I brought it to the show actually at some point. I was aware of this. Nonetheless, day before the mobile app release, I sent both Imran and Ben an early trailer of the launch as a gesture of goodwill despite prior issues. They congratulated us and we moved on. The next day, September 25th, our whales noticed a significant sell-off coming from Ben's public wallet. Later claimed he had OTC'd his supply to an undisclosed third party, who then immediately market sold over 1% of Kled at the same day. So what might have happened here is maybe Ben OTC'd 1% to some person. Maybe he gave him some level of discount. This person just then took advantage of the slippage and market, did a little arbitrage trade, and just fully stacked out of his Kled position and kind of made money off of this deal. So shame on Ben, shame on this seller, of course, for making a bad faith deal. Avi reached out to Ben Soju and Imran. Both Imran and Soju told Ben this was unacceptable, of course. Ben said his reasons for selling were due to taxes. We know it's tax season, so that seems to be the reason. We don't know if that's true or what it means. also burning the supply would have helped nullify those taxes as well if that was the case. So it's a little confusing why Ben wanted to sell, if it was purely out of hatred, if it was purely out of extraction, what the reason being. Nonetheless, Avi is rightfully angry about this. During the biggest product launch, we were forced to damage, control, scramble, and coordinate OTC solutions to prevent further market harm. Between the 24th and 27th, Ben agreed to be backed out of his OTC pricing for four separate times, while also lying about when he began selling. Communication was nearly non-existent. Even his own team struggled to respond. They were forced this OTC at 27 million valuation. It reduced the holdings from 6 to 3.5% as far as he remembers, possibly slightly more or less. He refused to sell the remainder, stating he wanted to wait it out. That's despite previously claiming selling was for tax reasons. Yeah, very weird. Weeks passed with zero communication. Then about a week ago, Ben resumed market selling Kled again, despite repeated assurances that he would never do so. That being said, I'll kind of sum the rest of this up. He market sold, and he allegedly doesn't have much left to sell, but pretty sad on behalf of Believe, promising one thing, doing another thing. We know Ben has basically max extracted and grifted Believe and the entire ecosystem with it. So very disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, we got to call this for what it is. It's lying, it's untrustworthiness. And in the finance industry, you only get one shot. And if your reputation is ruined, you're done. And so he's done that. Not that he cares or anything like that, but this is just inappropriate behavior from Ben Pasternak. And it is what it is. I don't know what the ramifications and the legal consequences here. There's got to be some legal consequences for this type of behavior, but yeah, I mean, I guess those tokens are technically Believes, and they're technically his to do what he wants with it. But they've promised a lot of things publicly. That's the thing. So yes, they're technically Believes, but when you start promising things on the timeline around what Believe's doing, it becomes a bit of an obligation. So yeah, I don't know, but someone needs to take this on, I think, because it's yeah.
I mean, yeah. No matter how you frame it, Ben Pasternak has been a grift this entire time. It's been a shame to see what he's done. He has really been very poor with communication. He scammed his founders, scammed his community at every turn. They have extracted a lot, and it's a shame. So whatever, it is what it is. As we know, obviously at the very end, that's the last he kind of wants to talk about it. He's moving on to better things. Thankfully, this chapter is almost closed, and he can move on from Believe's team's clown show.
Yeah,
but yeah.
I feel for Avi on this, honestly. You got to meet Avi at Breakpoint. I didn't get a chance to meet him. Like, would he show up for Matt Dobby for like 5 minutes and then leave?
Yeah. So I met Avi and Maya for about 5-10 minutes, and yeah, they had scheduled another meeting, I think, or landed another meeting later that day that they had to attend to. So I did see him for a little bit, but this is unacceptable. So nonetheless, another poor situation that Believe seems to have extracted out of. Yeah, I don't know. Question is, they're working on this new app that they're launching at some point. I don't think you ever regain trust. I think there's just too many people that are gonna yeah, and then
throw open a Kled chart real quick. Let's look at a few charts.
A Kled chart.
Yeah, we have 12 minutes, and we want to jump into some potential setups.
Well, I'll speed run this then. Yeah, so Kled sitting here at about 19.
You gotta change your tab.
Yeah, Kled sitting at 19 mil. Again, we start getting to undervalued territory once we're at that 19 mil. We know that they have this equity anchorage structure that they're working on. They announced that they're going to be releasing in the V2 version of Street, or the incubator round V2. I don't know, whatever it's called, but they're batch V2. That's right. They're going to be incubating in the batch V2 round. And so we know they're officially going to move over to the ERCS standard, tying some sort of equity to the Kled token. So right now it's at 20 mil. We'll call it. They raised 100 mil. So if he allocates 1/5 of equity to Kled, this would be considered fair value. I don't think he goes lower than that. To be completely honest, I don't think he goes any lower than that. I don't know. I did not discuss that with him when I saw him, but if he does, he does, and maybe reprices a little bit lower, right? So let's say he takes 10%. This reprices 50% down to 10 mil. Let's say he does 30%, this reprices, to the upside to 30 mil, right? So I would say this is a pretty safe valuation to invest in. Of course, you would have to be gauging for Kled potentially raising at higher valuations in the future or potentially failing, right? But I think anything sub 20 mil is probably a pretty good growth investment for Kled if we do get a equitable Anchorage model here. So yeah, Kled looks pretty good.
Yep, there's a raft of tokens here. Not a raft of tokens. There's a cohort of tokens here that are upgrading to this ownership token equity model. Kled is one of them. So keep an eye on this. But also, if you're done this Kled segment, Orgo is another one that's performing really well from some recent announcements. We covered this yesterday on the show. The Orgo thesis. I've spoken to it at length. But here's another potential major play. I mean, we're talking about an ownership token pivot. 50% of the tokens are currently locked with, Spencer and his investors, and Dupe owns a bunch of this as well. Rumor is not rumor, but the kind of vibe is that this Orgo might go to something like a street. And I think given the computer use traction that he could show, this could be a huge play for next year. So keep this, again, I think great area. I mean, we've talked about it for a while, but these are the type of pullbacks that you gotta, this seems risk reward pretty decent. So
yeah. Let's think of the repercussions if Orgo goes to an equity token. Obviously, they've had they've gotten venture money from A16Z Scout Fund, as well as some other very notable investors. So, the opportunity to invest alongside some of these key players is not something many people get the opportunity to do. So I think that's very valuable. And just to have that framing around a token, I think is really cool. The question now becomes, okay, well, you have 50% float kind of out of circulation. How much is equity is Spencer willing to give up here? Let's say 10%. That would value this at a 50.2 million market cap token, right? From an equity standpoint. If he gives 25%, maybe half of that 50%, right? It makes it a lot higher. So the question is, you have this game theory now that comes into play. How much would Spencer actually give up, right? Is it going to be that full 50% float? Is it going to be half of that? Is it going to be 10% of that? Like, who knows? Number one. And number two, what then does that put the value of this company at? Do we think Orgo is a 50 million valuation company? Do you think they deserve to raise at that price? Do they deserve to raise higher? Do they deserve to raise lower, right? So the game theory comes into question here for Orgo. So you have to do those numbers and crunch them yourself. But I do think it's a very interesting angle. And I think you could pretty easily push the narrative that, hey, I get to invest alongside A16Z in a growth market for a very cool product, right? So, I could definitely see that narrative being pushed, and I don't know. We'll see. But I didn't actually, again, I have been kind of tapped out of the market, so I'm not really familiar with that update you just alluded to, Josh.
Yep. The ownership token thing. Yeah. Let's throw open some SOAR. So DFTV, and then there's the bit one, which I'll give you guys a little alpha for those listening.
Yeah, I know nothing about the bit one because that again launched when we were away. DFTV question again becomes what's the value of this? They're probably gonna do the same thing that CPT did and burn majority of that overhead hanging supply. So right now we see this is a 4 million valuation. If they burn this, and they can't release any more or issue any more token equity, whatever you want to call it, is DFTV Defiance Media, is 4 million a fair value? Again, they stream to 80 million households across the world, right? So is this an equitable investment? And we know that they're planning on some sort of raise in the new year. And I think we've concluded that that's going to be around 50 mil if we had to guess. So again, the upside here is, let's call this 5 mil. Of course, it's much cheaper than 5 mil here, about $1 million. Let's call this 5 mil. Let's say they do go raising 50 at 50 million valuation. This should hypothetically reprice to at least 50 million, right? So, what's the RR here? I think it's pretty asymmetric as well, as Josh mentioned, asymmetric bets earlier. Downside is what? Maybe we just go down. People don't understand what the offering is here, and we range at 2 mil. Maybe we go lower. Maybe we go to 0, right? Who knows? But the upside is pretty much uncapped. And then at least in the new year, if they raise at 50, 25, to even 10 million, right, or even 5 million, this should reprice higher. So I do think the R is pretty decent here for DFTV. Josh, any thoughts before we move on?
Yeah, I think there's two plays. One is exactly what we talked about, the burning of these outstanding supplies. That's one. The second is I coached Patrick a little bit, and Patrick is an investor in this company, but I said, look, people want to hear about other investors on DFTV's cap table being excited about this DRP token standard. If Brock Pierce came out and said, yeah, hey, one of my portfolio companies just used this really novel mechanism, DRP, our token is now tokenized, or my equity is now somewhat tokenized, and here's the reason why this could potentially be exciting. I think this rips like a massive amount. Like, I don't know what a massive amount is, but it definitely would rip. You also have the founders of Tether on this. Tether is very aggressively allocating capital to all sorts of things. And they have an interest in something like a media player like this being successful and spreading the information of what is happening in crypto out to the world. And as we mentioned, DFTV is, through streaming relationships, is available on many smart TVs across the United States. So, look, guys, I don't know if any of this happens. I don't know if my feedback gets through, but I think there is an asymmetric bet here. At 400K, you do a few of these things well and you start executing well, good comms, right narrative, SOAR meta season, that kind of stuff. This could be, would I be surprised to see it at $4 million in the spring of next year? No, I would not be surprised if they nail these things properly. So just saying, I'm starting to see the tweets, man. I'm starting to see the tweets of people saying all tokens without equity ownership or some sort of ownership token structure are just
It's been a big billboard for MetaDAO and SOAR recently. We've seen it. And you know what? I've started to honestly get so cynical about crypto that I fall into this category where I don't think your token has any value unless you're layer 1 or layer 2 and it's not tied to equity. Like, frankly, it's layer 1s, layer 2s, any sort of protocol that uses underlying tokens as gas or as payments, like Solana, like Bitcoin, like Ethereum. I don't think it has value. And I think that was like the big pool of crypto early on, is you could speculate on a whole new asset class and an investment in the upside of, these different economies and ecosystems. And like, frankly, a lot of the shitcoins and stuff we're seeing today don't have any mechanism where it makes sense to have a token utility, right? You don't, these tokens having built-in token utilities is practically valueless. They burn so little, it has so little effect. It's kind of just a meme in and of itself to have token utility. I think ultimately we see a future, and I've said this many, many times, and we had this discussion, Matt Davi and in the UAE so often. It's just like, I think the private markets have so much value coming on chain and having a liquid tradable asset, in terms of raising funding, just having a market for it, having that speculative aspect to it. Like, there's just so much value, and crypto enables that. I think then if you pair that on top with something like Dupe, where you have these growth mechanisms, and I guess my question about Dupe is like, how much supply is actually getting burned out of the Dupe token? And again, what makes the Dupe token valuable if it's just a token that represents growth? But again, that it's representative of nothing. There's no actual intrinsic value to this token. So if you have this model where it's equity plus a growth metric that comes into play, things get really interesting. Like, I think let's just take Dupe as the example, because I'm using it here. If Dupe goes and launches this a DRP standard, gives 10% of equity to this standard, whatever, and then they also have a growth engine where the token is bought back and actually burned. Well, now the tokens that are earned through their app actually have intrinsic value, right? So I actually have reason to want to hold onto my Dupe if I believe the growth in this company is valuable, as well as I have this underlying mechanism that burns, as well as equity in the token. So I think we get to this beautiful point in the middle where you have private equity on chain, and there's actually benefit to holding these companies, these equities on chain, because they do have different underlying mechanisms, burning and growth mechanics. Yeah, Dex, I know Bobby is anti-ownership, but I think that's largely due to having no regulatory clarity. So, I've spoken with Bobby about this at length. But yeah, no, I think if we do get regulatory clarity, Bobby will be much more open to it in the future. But you're right. Currently, seems to be against it.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry. Let's rip through AIM real quick. Let's just get a bunch of SOAR related clips. I think these are all gonna really age well.
Okay, we can do AIM. There's so much to talk about. We're gonna have to go a little bit after.
Yeah,
Just
AIM
pay
is
AI.
gonna be quick, and yeah, we AIM will be quick.
Is this the correct one? 4.4 million market cap.
No, that's not the correct one.
Can you send CA or maybe pull it up yourself?
Yeah, maybe we just flip to pay AI and continue the segment after, because Repo actually rescheduled. So Repo is actually going to be on Thursday, guys. So we'll pull Notorious on. Maybe yeah, we'll get into it, but maybe throw a pay AI chart up real quick.
For sure.
Notorious, what's up, buddy?
Hey, what's going on?
Not much. I can hear you.
Cool. Good to be here again. Is there any echo or anything?
No, you're good.
You sound good.
Cool.
Welcome
What's up,
back.
guys?
Were you at Breakpoint at all or no?
Yeah, I was for a couple days. I got in Friday and Saturday, basically.
Oh, we missed meeting up with you. We should have taken a. There's so many people that I wanted to meet at Breakpoint that I just didn't get a chance to. So
yeah, man, and it's so hard to coordinate once you're there, just because yeah, like you meet somebody, you go on a side quest, or the convo, takes a little longer than you thought, and then yeah, it's hard to get everyone.
Yeah.
How was Breakpoint for you? Successful?
Yeah, really good. Very successful in my opinion. My main reason going was to just meet a lot of the people that we'd been working with, foundation people, some mentors, project like X402 ecosystem projects. So I was really most excited about that, and was very happy to kind of like see them in person, and then got a good day at Money Day. I wish I had prepared better. Would have loved to speak at Money Day, but I was just actually I wasn't meant to go to Breakpoint. It all happened last minute. I already had plans to kind of go to Virginia for the holidays, and I yeah, it was last minute, so I wasn't able to prepare well enough.
I think a lot of people are in that same camp, that they kind of like got the word last second that they were going to go, and just game time decision. But the gentleman from Abu Dhabi, or the UAE investment authority or regulator, he was the first person to speak at Breakpoint, and he talked about there being 5,000. So across Finance Week in UAE, there was 5,000 companies, 30,000 attendees, and he announced half the world's wealth, something like 50 to 80 trillion dollars, was represented in this 1 week in the United Arab Emirates.
Wow.
And so you guys being kind of, X402 and broadly Solana Breakpoint happening within this context at the tail end of Finance Week was pretty powerful.
Yeah, that is those are some impressive stats, and definitely it's kind of like the cherry on top, right? The finale.
It makes you wonder why we were so repressive of crypto over the last 5 years in the US.
we gotta wait for the regulation to catch up.
How was your experience in the UAE? Was that your first time going over to that side of the world?
Yeah, first time. Yeah, I think it added to so much to the event, to be honest. I feel like dude, I got to the airport, ordered an Uber X. That's like the lowest tier Uber, right? And I get picked up in a GMC Yukon, and I'm like, bro, what the hell is going on here? This is for me?
And it probably took 1 minute to get picked up. That was the crazy part. Every time I ordered Kareem, I was using Kareem and Uber the entire time. There was never a wait more than like 3 minutes. They were just there all the time.
Great service, and it's like, Uber X, and it's like an Audi A7 picking you up, and it costs like $5 to get where you're going.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah, and I think that you could kind of see that throughout the whole thing, like the Yas Island, so beautiful, like so new. It's like it definitely adds to the experience of the event. The whole event kind of felt top class. And
maybe from also, sorry, go finish your thought.
Yeah, also Breakpoint itself was so well organized, and like check-in was no problem at all, and getting to where you're trying to go was no problem at all. So props to Solana for putting that on.
Totally.
How do we feel about Breakpoint in London next year?
No, no idea. Obviously, it's gonna be cold. Like I really enjoyed the weather and the t-shirt friendliness. So yeah, it's. I mean, we'll go, but we might have to drink a lot.
Yeah, right.
Maybe from an investor or from a just attending these things, like what kind of outcomes do you look for? Are you trying to meet with like potential investors? You're meeting with token holders, meeting with projects to integrate. Like when you go into one of these conferences, what do you like to get out of it for your community?
Yeah, it definitely depends what you're going there for. For me, this time it was to meet up with people that we had already worked with and just to strengthen those relationships, and then to meet existing or like projects that are already building in the X402 space and try to onboard them or figure out what their pain points are. See for the ones that are using the Pay AI facilitator, like how did they hear about us? What can we improve? And then outside of that, with the free time that I had, is just walk around and try to see if we can onboard new partnerships or like listen to what other projects are doing. Have they thought about heard about X402 at all? Like, have they thought about it, etc. And try to build some leads that way.
And what was your takeaways from that? Do you feel like people have heard about X402?
Yeah, I was surprised, man. I almost felt like a local celebrity, and that was really nice, to be honest. I'd never had that before, and I was surprised by how many people had heard of Pay AI, and I think that was a pleasant surprise, especially around Money Day. So Money Day was on Saturday, and agentic commerce was a big part of that in the afternoon, and I think a lot of that kind of X402 hype was around that time. But in general, X402 as a word was definitely buzzing. I think almost everybody had heard about it, whether they kind of got into the specifics or not. Maybe less, but they had at least heard of X402, and so that was really great to see. To be honest, it continues to blow my mind how fast X402 gained in mindshare.
Curious to hear what some of these discussions around X402 sounded like. I'm sure spoke with a ton of people that are building on top of X402 Rails, innovating, just having these fringe ideas for it. I guess walking away from the event and maybe reflecting a little bit, what were some of those conversations that got you most excited for in terms of X402?
Yeah, I think there were quite a few. I would say on Money Day in particular, it was kind of seeing um, how much support there was for X402 and how many people were kind of thinking about it already. Um, and then throughout the rest of Money Day, there were other payment focused projects and companies and kind of just seeing how how X402 could fit into that, and just hearing about the broader ecosystem and broader space being, even if it's not directly related to X402, just kind of these big companies starting to settle transactions on Solana, for example, or just being interested in Solana in general, kind of gives me a hope that there's a path there. Like you can kind of see the path a little more clearly. So when Visa says like they're settling transactions on Solana or some of their transactions on Solana, or I learned about WorldPay for the first time there, but WorldPay is kind of a huge uh, kind of like a consultant, as well as provides lots of intermediate finance like steps throughout the whole payment process. Kind of hearing about these companies and seeing that they are now looking at blockchain and now looking at Solana gives me, gives me kind of hope that there's a path there. But also, a lot of these companies already are looking at agentic commerce. Visa already has their own agentic commerce thing. Maybe not WorldPay, but yeah, I think there was just a lot of excitement around that. In terms of X402 talks that I saw, we had Kevin from Coinbase, and we had Alex from Corebits giving talks. And for me, maybe a lot of it was I had already kind of heard it, but for people that are there for the first time, I think that's also super bullish for the space. And in hindsight, like wish I had planned a talk as well. I think we would have been a good addition, but just wasn't prepared.
Are
So
Visa, or I was just going to ask specifically about X402 with Visa and some of the big companies. Are they, you said they're thinking about agentic payment workflows, but do they have any pilots or like specific kind of tests underway? I know Visa back in the day did stuff with NFTs and whatnot, but yeah, just I know they're doing so with stable coins, but what about specifically with agentic commerce?
Yeah, they've got this it's called the Trusted Agent Protocol. They've got a repo on GitHub. You could even see it if you wanted. GitHub/Visa/Trusted Agent Protocol.
Can you
And
link that in the private?
yeah, let me send that in. And so they've got some places where you could plug in X402 in here. So this is their agentic framework. This is how their this is their like main library for agentic commerce. And it's got a lot of pieces to it. But you can even like search X402 in the top search bar, and you'll see some of the places where X402 plugs in. Oh, here, I'll just send you a link. That's interesting.
I need to sign in, I think.
Oh, well, that's all right. But basically, like in this library, they've got some X402 paywalls for checking out. And so they're kind of experimenting, and they've been hosting a lot of the X402 hackathons and have like sponsored tracks. And so they want people playing around with this library and seeing what they can come up with. Personally, I it's been on my to-do list to do like a weekend hackathon live stream around this. I just haven't. It's been so busy recently. I haven't had the chance, but maybe look out for that in the new year. I'll try to hack something around here and see if we can get some convos going with Visa around PayAI, X402, and Visa.
Yeah. So when you think about neobanks, are you having any of these conversations? Because I think about neobanks. Oh, Josh, I'm glad you got that pull up there. What are these conversations looking like? Because I'm seeing a lot of these neobanks really focus on microtransactions and third world countries and maybe use QR codes and whatnot. Are you in talks with any neobanks that could benefit from X402 and what PayAI is, facilitating here?
That's a great question. We haven't been talking to too many to many at all, actually, neobanks. I can see the microtransaction side of it for sure, especially if they're like settling on chain and with stable coins. That's definitely a new possibility for them. Not too many talks regarding agentic commerce, but that could be a great that could be something for the future that might like that bridge between the two might happen, perhaps in the form of basically accepting fiat for X402 transactions.
Got you. What are you guys working on? What's been top of mind recently? You obviously got out to Abu Dhabi recently, but I'm sure the team's been hard at work. What are some updates with PayAI Squad?
Yeah, it's been a busy last month. We had our token migration, which definitely sidetracked us, but at the same time, super important for us since we are bootstrapped up to date. Now we'll be getting kind of fees for through LP, and that's huge for us. Helps us keep the facilitator running, helps us keep good talent around. So that a big part of end of November, early December was focused on that. But alongside that, we've been improving the facilitator, optimizing it, adding some more wallets so that transactions can be processed faster. We've been working on a fun project that'll be released very soon, kind of a merchant launcher, something to help merchants on Solana launch X402 powered merchants. So being able to launch a merchant that accepts 402 payments. and adding new network support. So we're going to drop this announcement later today, but we've added another network to the networks that we support. And we're in talks with Near for cross-chain payments. We think, yeah, so that's kind of what we'd been doing. And we've, I could go into a list if you want now or later of what we've got coming up that we're looking at.
Let's do the list. But I do want to talk a bit about this token migration. So you guys, up until recently, haven't earned any fees from.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's been, dude, that whole hype
Yeah,
cycle and
bro.
all.
You were on the show when it was $4 million PAI, and it ripped to like $80 million in the
Yeah,
like
And there was
week
no
after.
fees from that.
no fees,
Oh,
unfortunately.
Damn, bro.
It's
That's
a bitch. Yeah, it's a pain for sure. And that alone, that must have been over 100 million in volume. So that would have been
yeah.
a million in fees. Well, I mean,
Dare I
maybe
say
less
the
than that.
MCG effect on that? I don't know. But that
Maybe.
was a legit run. That was definitely
Yeah,
a legit
I think
run.
I think you guys had us at a great time. There had been a lot of hype building up ahead of it. With the Cloudflare. I mean, we talked about all of that during the last show as well.
Yeah.
Cloudflare announcing support and Google and all of that. Yeah, it was perfect storm, man. And I'm sure your audience is very happy about that.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
So the migration was in part to get more ownership of the token, as well as maybe earn more fees going forward. Or walk me through that.
For sure. So with the migration, we've moved to, well, the main thing is we get to control our LP, right? So there's a lot that you can do when you have that. One of the big things is we can get fees now. The other big thing is we can provide liquidity in different places. So PancakeSwap, for example, is making a push to Solana and is providing rewards for LPers. So we can, in a few, maybe next week or something, we're looking to get a farm set up or provide LP there and get rewards from their farm, basically, which it all helps us in terms of expanding, running the facilitator, getting good talent, doing community incentives. Same thing with, like hackathons and bounties and things like that. Same thing with the fees, the quote unquote creator fees that we'll get now. So yeah, we're super happy to have done that. We used migrate.fun, which was also very helpful. I've done a migration before, and like the last thing you want is a technical blunder throughout the migration. And so having someone like migrate.fun handle that part, as well as a lot of the comms and dealing with exchanges. It was actually a headache, man, because we got listed on so many exchanges during that run up, and the migration was happening like 1 or 2 weeks after. So we had to interface with like 10 different I don't know, more or less like 10 different exchanges and do token swaps and
did you migrate from Pump Radium to Pump Swap, or what was the migration?
We went from Pump Radium just to Radium.
Okay.
And we were approached by PumpSwap during the time that we were going to migrate, but unfortunately just a little too late because we had already put out comms and already set a plan in place. There are a lot of projects that are migrating to PumpSwap this end of this month, so it'll be nice to see how that goes. And I hope we've set it up in a way where we can still provide liquidity on PumpSwap in the future.
Can I ask about your work with Radium real quick? We hear a lot about PumpSwap, a lot about Meteora, but we don't hear very much from the Radium team. Do they have like a quiet team working away on BD, or is it like completely just anon and
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, just anon and neutral. And I think that's we want to be neutral so that way if somebody wants us on their platform, then we can get some good deals that way. So it's kind of like we're not in any camp at the moment. And yeah, like PancakeSwap might be the first thing that we do. But yeah, the having control of our LP is the main benefit here because we can be flexible. We don't want to lock it up and burn it on any platform. We'll just lock it up for months at a time, and then once it unlocks, we can relock it or move it to where we are in demand or where we're getting good deals, basically.
When thinking about this migration, did you talk to the Pump Fund team or the Meteor team and see, because you mentioned deals, like specifically you said the word deals, and did anyone throw you a bag to migrate over to a specific liquidity provider
Um,
pool, or?
Yeah, no, not a bag. The only bag is this Pancake Swap rewards that we'll be getting for providing some liquidity there. It'll be like paid in Pancake and Cake, and we can obviously hold it or sell it. Uh, but Pump Fund approached us and they were doing they're making a push to ICM, right? And they kind of see our see PayAI as an ICM project, and they want to they have a whole effort to kind of push to not just memes but to ICM, and they'll spotlight you and kind of co-market you, etc.
Yeah, I like it. I want to chat about X402 generally. Obviously, hot narrative, Coinbase backing it, all the things happening, narrative sparks after MCG. Maybe it was MCG, I don't know. But it takes off either way. You can see the growth of Solana X402 transaction count here. Shout out Rishin Sharma.
Yeah.
Shout out Rish. Yeah, just talk about a bit about the growth of X402. Is this real or is it all narrative?
Yeah. Big shout out to Rish. He's one of our main contacts at the foundation, and he's been super helpful. Got to meet him at Breakpoint, and it was great. Yeah, the growth is real. It's mixed, right? A lot of people complain that a lot of the volumes that you see are kind of wash trading or merchants trying to get to the top of the leaderboards by doing a lot of transactions or doing a lot of volume in terms of dollars settled. But amongst that, there are a lot of also good use cases and real use cases and people that are doing legit things. Even the people wash trading, like, or it's not wash trading, it's like wash, I don't know, whatever, trying to climb the leaderboards inorganically. Like even they kind of have good use cases. They're kind of maybe exaggerating what they're doing, but you'll see like some data, some market analysis bots, some inference LLM, so like paying per use for your chat GPT instead of having to get a subscription. One that I really liked on Solana was Hollow World, which is kind of an AI studio. They I think it was their first, and they're planning to do more. They did kind of a ticket sale through using X402, and so there's this project called Fight ID, which is partnered with the UFC. It's kind of like a way to get some points or reward or loyalty points and spend them in the UFC ecosystem. And they did a fight pass launch on Solana. They used the PayAI facilitator. I thought that was one of the coolest things. They basically sold, I believe it was 3,000 tickets for $50 each. Basically, yeah, like 150K total in volume. And apparently it went super smooth. I reached out to them after. They said, yeah, it was a great experience. And so that really excited me. And I can see, like, yeah, ticket sales are a great use case that fits so naturally into X402. Any one-time purchase fits very cleanly at the moment into X402. Things like donations and tipping, things like ticket sales, things like if you want to sell like stock photos, etc. And so like those are all use cases that today, without any additional development of the protocol, you can kind of plug all payments for all of those things using X402.
That's a really nice test case there. When you get test case like that, how do you go to other people, or I don't know, maybe from your standpoint, what does this look like where you take these test case and say, hey, X402 maybe is a better route than these traditional methods that people are used to. Is that something you're doing, or like how are you using test case like this per se to really help the mission?
Yeah, we'll definitely for sure. Like that's a strong highlight of what's possible with X402. And surely hell, it's the facilitator's still free at the moment. So for them, it really didn't cost anything. It was actually cheaper than they, most than even if they were to do it on their own, right? And facilitate their own transactions. And so facilitator won't be free forever, but in this specific case, like that's a major benefit. And like even going forward, even when the facilitator has fees, it's much cheaper than going through Stripe or payment processors. And so as a case study, that's super useful to show to people. We haven't been approaching Web2 businesses just yet. It is planned for next year, and things like that will definitely be something that we point to when we approach these businesses.
So what's the real moat here? Is it affordability?
One of is definitely affordability. The other is simplicity. So, in a way, you can just accept stablecoin payments using a few lines of code. Like if you install some server middleware, like some prepackaged code, and you just add a few lines of code, you should be able to accept X402 payments. And yeah, simplicity is a big one. The way I see it, it's kind of like as stablecoin payments become more and more of a thing, I think we can now approach Web2 businesses and say, hey, you should add a new payment channel to your business. Stablecoins, they're being widely accepted or more and more widely accepted now. And X402 is the vehicle that you can do that with.
Love it. This list you had, you were originally going to get into a list of things you guys have been working on or achieved since maybe the last time we even had this conversation back when you guys were just 4
Yeah.
million market cap. What maybe go through some of those achievements.
Yeah, I mean, so much has happened. That whole run definitely tested our systems. We got way more volume than we were equipped to handle, and so we quickly fixed the facilitator. Went through some growing pains, especially on EVM. Like one big one is transactions on EVM require a nonce. It's like a number that is unique to the transaction. And if you want to send like 100 transactions in a minute, you really got to manage that nonce carefully. And if it gets out of sync, it can kind of like throw your whole facilitator into a degraded state. And so a big part of that was like figuring out how to deal with these nonces, how to get as many transactions as we can inside a block so that it's faster. And we've got more improvements that are kind of planned and will be implemented soon. So that's a big one. Just taking the volume that we got and improving the facilitator with it to kind of build as best of an experience as we can, so that we can be competitive in the market. The other thing is we've added some support for new networks, I believe, since we added perhaps Peak. And there's another one that there's XLayer that had approached us. This is alpha right now. We'll be announcing this later, but XLayer as a network, which is OKX's chain. Some other things that are exciting to us is Coinbase. I believe after seeing the scale of what happened, when Coinbase had first kind of thought up of the X402 protocol, they thought facilitators would be free. They would settle transactions on behalf of users for free. And a couple weeks ago, they came out saying in January they're going to turn on fees for the facilitator, which is huge for not just us, but any other facilitator in the space, because now it's kind of a viable business model. And so something we have planned for early next year is we'll turn on fees as well, and PayAI can be used to pay for this as well with a discount. And that PayAI would be locked or burned. So that's huge.
So question, what changed in the Coinbase research that made them think now all of a sudden fees can be switched on for this. And in fact, we're not going to have free facilitators. It will be a paid service.
Yeah, good question. I can only guess, but I think seeing the scale of seeing like the number of transactions that happen, and then projecting forward to if this was like hobbyists and just indie devs building with X402 and crypto ecosystem kind of minting tokens using X402. If this is just the start, and it costs so much, can you imagine thousands of transactions per minute, or like millions or hundreds of millions per day? Number one, I think that alone is enough, but the other thing is, as you go multi-network, so like Coinbase on Base, if they're paying on Base with ETH, it kind of goes back to them. But like if they're trying to make a push into Solana or other networks, they don't recover that Sol or whatever that they're paying for network fees. So that could be another reason. And then a third reason maybe could be to just encourage diversity of facilitators, to make it a viable business model, to let facilitators other than Coinbase kind of emerge, and maybe they see that as a way to give the X402 protocol as a protocol a stronger chance at success.
I think you definitely need that to attract business and attract people building. What do fees look like? Is it a percent? Is it a flat, let's say 1 penny? How do fees work for these types of transactions?
Yeah, at the moment, and I think it'll change. I think at the moment, the way they've designed it is, after you do 1,000 transactions as a merchant, after they've settled 1,000 transactions on your behalf, you'll pay 0.001, so 1/10 of a cent per transaction. And that's more or less the current cost of gas per transaction on Base. So it's not like they're profiting, but they're just recovering the payment. And that's why I think it'll change as well. So I don't think this is the final model. I think the pricing structure will change in the future. Some other like another facilitator that has turned on fees was ThirdWeb. ThirdWeb takes 0.3% per transaction, so it's not a flat fee, it's based on the amount. And then for us, we're still thinking about how we'll do it. The easy thing would be to just follow Coinbase and then readjust as we get more data about how people are using the facilitator. So yeah, we're still thinking about it. But yeah, it could be a percentage or it could be a flat fee per transaction. One interesting thing is Stripe recently came out and said 1.5% per transaction. This is outside of X402. This is just stablecoin payments with Stripe. 1.5% fee per payment.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to keep running down that list. That was a lot of information there, but banger.
Yeah. We'll be releasing a fun merchant for the holidays, kind of a way to help Solana devs launch merchants, and we're hoping that that'll get some good volume on Solana. Look out for that. I hope
Can
later
you
this.
explain what that looks like a little bit more?
I want to keep. I know, like, I know you guys don't like me to tease too much, but we did it a bit on the last space. Basically, it's a way for devs to kind of click around and launch a merchant, and then they'll have it hosted on their own infrastructure on Vercel, and they'll be able to extend it however they want. But it's a way to make it easy to at least get started with a merchant, and then if they want to go in and write some more code or change the code, then they can. But you're kind of getting something packaged out of the box that you can use and launch. And we're theming it a bit for the holidays, so yeah, it'll be coming out, hoping later this week, at the latest next week. So look out for that.
Yeah, great timing on that. Josh has formerly worked in the advertisement world, and as Josh, I'm sure you know, this is the biggest quarter by far when it comes to merchants and sales and consumer products, etc.
And then it drops off in January to near zero, and you got to spend all year building it up. Yeah. Yes.
Why is that a mixture of like tax season paired with just holiday season?
No, it's just consumer spending trends. So if you think about the consumer, they save all year, spend it during the holidays. Like Q4 was our busiest advertising season. I would say Q4 is almost like 5 times bigger than Q1 in terms of spend. And then, everyone in January is like, oh, I got to pay my mortgage. I shouldn't have spent all my money. My credit card bill's high, and then you build it up throughout the year. That's usually how it works.
Yeah. So good timing. Excited to see that you said launching hopefully in the next week or two.
Yeah, it should be end of this week or early next week.
Try end of this week, because by next week people are sipping on eggnog with rum in it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the hope is to get some of that like holiday spirit, just people chilling and feeling the joy of the holidays. Let's see.
Depending on how Bitcoin's looking, we'll be seeing how much I enjoy these holidays.
And this is such a contrast to last year. Oh my god.
Yeah, dude, it is actually. I was seeing some posts about that earlier as well. It's like you just know a couple weeks before the holidays if it's gonna be one of those holidays where you're gonna be locked in on your computer the entire time, or like enjoying it, kind of chilling out. And this seems to be the latter. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe not for you guys. You got to get heads down, push this thing out. But
well, yeah, we got to ship this, and then I'm hoping I could get a couple weeks of just good family time. Nice.
Speaking of the holidays, let's just switch it up right now.
Kick it off, yeah.
Kick it off with some overlays. StreamYard asked me if I wanted to apply these, but now I'm saying yes. So I don't know if we've really talked about the token in terms of you mentioned kind of the token might be used as a way to pay fees. I don't know if you've thought about, like we're seeing ownership coins become a really big narrative and equity anchors and all this kind of stuff. I don't know. Have you guys thought further about just, what the token may represent post migration?
Yeah, definitely fees. Trying to add it as, trying to get as many token syncs in as we can as we develop. So as we release new features, if we can use the token to give discounts or for payment or more utility in the ecosystem, we will. In terms of equity, we haven't thought about that yet. Definitely want to see. Yeah, we'll have to think about that more deeply, and also we'll have to see how the space develops. I don't want us to do anything risky before it's clear how things work. So yeah, that's that.
Yeah, actually, prior to this conversation, I said, I don't think tokens. I'm starting to get into the perspective where tokens that aren't layer 1s and layer 2s, like it's very hard to find like built-in intrinsic utility because they're not just generally doing as many transactions as like layer 1s or layer 2s, to where it makes sense to have like a gas token or a token utility that kind of represents something similar to that. I guess when I think of payment facilitators, though, that's one of the few edge cases that does fit into a box where there's so many transactions going through. Having your own token be used as some sort of like prerequisite for gas or for something of that matter does actually make sense. So maybe I rescind my comment that I made earlier on that, because I could see something for like payment facilitators being used in the same like context as layer 1s and layer 2s. But I don't know, maybe still thinking through that thought process.
Yeah, I think if we it's all about volume. So if we can, I mean, man, let me run my Dune charts again. It's been a while, but like they're about 7 days old. But 7 days ago, the total number of transactions was 12.8 million through the PayAI facilitator. Wow. So, if that trend continues and if we can keep getting volume that way, I think it adds up, right? It might not all happen at once, but just consistent usage would be pretty good. Like would be a good token sync for sure.
Can you screen share some of your analytics?
Yeah.
Would love to get an update on how this is growing.
Yeah, let me do that. Or I can send you here. Let me send you the link. It's easy to open. The only problem is I last synced it 7 days ago,
That's
so
okay.
it's
That's
kind of
okay.
queued up now. But yeah, it's still a good representation.
When you say sync, do you just have to like input stuff manually, or?
No, you just have to press the run button. So like to run the
Mm.
um run the queries basically, and then Dune will go and do a bunch of database or blockchain fetches and then update the charts.
Okay, I haven't even really read what these are accounting for, but totally candlesticking here. In terms of
Yeah,
transactions.
yeah, yeah, and
Wow.
you see that so Solana had a bit of a Solana season in terms of volume. Now, mind you, this is only Pay AI, so like if you add the other facilitators on here, it might look different. This is just the Pay AI facilitator. So I don't know if we can get a full like ecosystem view through this, but we can definitely get a good view on Pay AI's usage.
Give me some numbers here that I can write down for the show notes.
Yeah, we've got so total pay number of payments 12.8 million. Total value settled 6 point, is that 5 or 6.6 million? 6.5 million, I think.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, yeah, I mean, for better or worse, some of that is some merchants just faking their stats, but
Hey, that's part of the game still too, right?
yeah, yeah. It's still a precursor, I think, of what's to come.
What's the growth on this? I mean, can you give us like some punchy headline growth metric here?
I mean, we can take the months.
Like
I think maybe the
that
months.
literally looks like a hockey stick. I mean,
Yeah, right.
End of October, early November, that's when all the craziness started. I mean, you can see November was a huge month. And then December is also another huge month. Maybe
we like big surprising numbers here. So
Wow.
give me an October number and give me the latest one you have, and I'll give you a percent change.
December went vertical.
yeah, so Dinero, can you like hover over October, November? Like
You went TVL, total value settled, or
yeah, let's go with total value settled first. So October 1st was yeah,
we call it the 6th.
October 6th was $772. And then November 6th was
November 6th here.
yeah, let's go to November. One more. Yeah, November 3rd was 2.8 million. And then December 3rd was, or December 8th, 6.5 mil.
Jeez. From 772 to 6.5 mil. That's insane.
That's X402, right? That's representative of the run and mind share that it just got throughout that time. And then you could do the same thing for number of transactions, but maybe the dollars settled is more interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Wow. So like truly picking up a lot of traction, wash trading or not, maybe even assuming some of that is just like pretty crazy to go from $772, a pretty nominal value there to, millions and millions of dollars is just
840,000% increase. Can I put out like a tweet on that? I'm gonna put a tweet out on that.
That's so bullish.
That's
All
so
right.
bullish.
All right. That is so bullish, bro. I love it. Even if it is whatever, I think you got to get it in. Will you guys retweet this? You guys will retweet this.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Even if it is wash trading, still, I guess it goes to show that someone at least now cares enough to wash trade, whereas before they didn't, right?
Yeah.
But that's
yeah. And even like, I mean, I don't know how much of it is wash trading, but like let's I know for a fact, for example, the Hollow World case by itself, just one merchant did 150K in volume, and so like compare that to $700, and that's quite a big percentage change as well.
Yeah, no, that's super incredible. I just think, I mean, certainly as the mindshare opens up for X402 and people just start learning about it, you're going to see people experimenting with it, which naturally is going to lead to situations like that where you get these pretty cool test cases.
Right.
Okay, I feel like we covered a lot. Is there anything else on that list you guys have been working out that you want to, highlight here? What we got you?
So X402 V2 came out last end of last week, and we'll be adding support this week for any developers or merchants that are curious. So V2 support is coming out soon. Quarter 1 next year, we're focused on improving our developer experience and comms so that it's like consistent and easier even for devs to get set up. We want to focus on payment splitting, which is one of the most common feature requests. We've already partnered with a project called Cascade for payment splitting, but we just want to kind of get PayAI branded payment splitting and start adding that to our website and docs. As I mentioned, we'll be turning on fees for the facilitator. There'll be discounts for using PayAI. And then we're going to be supporting other payment schemes, like one is called Up2, which is very useful for AI agents, and other cases where you don't know how much the request is going to cost ahead of time. So, like, for example, when ChatGPT goes to think, sometimes it uses, I don't know, for example, 1,000 tokens, and sometimes it could use 5,000 tokens. And if you're charging per token, you kind of don't know what the price is ahead of time. So this Up2 payment scheme will allow for you to like support that use case where it's not known how much it'll cost ahead of time, and super useful for AI agents, and has been requested a lot actually by many different merchants. We'll be working on on-ramping. We'll try to get an on-ramping partner to kind of provide a full end-to-end experience. If an AI agent developer is just starting for the first time and they don't even have stable coins, we want to kind of get them set up that way. And that's already a lot for Q1, but if there is time, we also want to start adding server wallets. This concept of embedded wallets seems to be a growing and popular case where basically a server sets up a wallet for you. It's still non-custodial, but you can set up a wallet using a traditional API like developers are used to. And so you'll see, like, we're starting to see a big trend of wrapping and packaging Web3 in a way that just feels like Web2.
Yeah.
And I think that's huge for adoption, and especially for the stablecoin case. So we're kind of betting big on that, and I think that's more of what we're going to continue to see.
Yeah, I think that's the truth, right? People don't care what underlying technology they're using as long as it works, as long as it works good. And
Yeah.
I think so that push to make crypto seamless and not necessarily brand anything as crypto, just brand it as a product that rocks, I think is totally the wave. So I'm glad to see you guys going in that direction.
Agree. Yeah, man.
Okay. Wow, that was a lot. There's a lot of alpha there. Josh just dropped some notes, I think, kind of detailing a lot of what we talked about, but super cool, bullish X402 in general, bullish PayAI, and I'm happy we could get you on today.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. It's always a pleasure and great convo.
Yeah,
As always.
glad we sparked the next run from 6 mil to like
Let's go.
150 mil.
600
$600 billion trillion.
It's just a matter of time, man. NFA, not financial advice.
Definitely not financial advice. Yeah, but yeah, always great conversation, Notorious. Appreciate your time, bro.
Likewise. Cheers, guys.
All right, brother.
Yeah.
Peace. Yeah, dude. What continues to be a pretty exciting narrative in crypto. So
I think so. It's kind of one of those like infrastructure things that I don't think about like super often, but yeah, you can't ignore numbers like that, people testing things out. So
yeah, I made that hyperbolic comment at the start of the stream saying I think basically any token that's not a layer 1 or a layer 2 either needs an equity anchorage to it or else it's got like no value. But then you think of something like PayAI where it's like, okay, there are tons of transactions coming through it. And that is one of the few, I think, edge cases where it's like, okay, the token could drive a lot of value from pure usage.
Guy walks it back 15 minutes later.
I know, right? Didn't think through it much before that. But I think there is actually a lot of like truth to that statement though. I just
Yeah.
like, unless your protocol is doing a ton of transactions where it's just like, you know, hundreds of thousands, millions of people, billions of transactions being routed via your, I guess, token, you could say in this case, all the time, it's probably not worth it to have a token that's anchored towards transactions. Even if you're a super successful product, like it's just unlikely that you're doing hundreds of millions of transactions or enough to like cause significant impact to like token usage.
Totally.
So whatever. But layer ones, layer twos, and maybe pay AI and payment facilitators are a good use case of actual token utility. But okay, cool. How you feeling? Any high level thoughts after that, or?
Yeah, I just payments are interesting. Stable coins are the narrative. This is kind of a little bit of a side quest it within that, and I just need to keep seeing more of this being adopted. Like even the UFC one, I didn't fully understand it. Are those agents making those payments? Like, is it just agents to agents going to do all this kind of stuff? So just a little unsure of what the the agentic payment stuff is still. So getting there.
Yeah, well, and even talking to neobanks, hearing about the integration of X402 and microtransactions, I don't think it's strictly agent to agents. I just think it's X402 in general, and then it happens to be picked up by agents where like people kind of foresee the future of X402. But I don't think it has to be agents. And I actually think the KC gave today was not agents. But maybe I understood that incorrectly. But the numbers I think are crazy. Like those are truly hockey sticking numbers. When we did have Pay AI on, I think that was the biggest critique we had was, okay, well, the numbers just aren't fully there. Like the idea, the vision, it's super cool, but we need to see real adoption. And even now, I don't think we've seen real adoption yet, but I think we've definitely seen people entering the conversation and we are seeing some adoption now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those numbers are pretty crazy. 721 to 6.5 million in a matter of 3 months in terms of dollar amount settled via PayAI's X402 facilitator.
All right, back to charts. Let's great conversation though. You know what? There's just some people that you get a good vibe off of, and Notorious is one of those that like we just get like a really great vibe from.
Well, what's nice about
dude.
PayAI too, and maybe for like their detriment, but like they've made no money off of fees or anything. So like this whole mission that they've set out to do is fully because they believe in a future of this working out rather than, okay, we're getting a ton of fees, so let's just continue to milk this narrative till it runs dry. And the truth is they were here when it was making no money, and even up until recently they were getting no fees from it, and they haven't even flipped on the fees for their facilitator. So I think most of this was, like they said, bootstrapped and kind of just, let's build this out because we see the vision, and once we build a great product, the money kind of comes after that. And I think that's a nice thing about Notorious Dev and the PayAI team. Could be wrong. Maybe they've made a boatload of money somehow building this out, but as far as I'm aware, they've pretty much been doing this because of the vision rather than the like influx of capital, right?
Yeah. Agreed.
Okay.
Let's get on to some of these other SOAR launches real quick. That bit one, and then I gotta hop by 2 p.m. So maybe we go for 28 more minutes. Let's do that.
Cool. Let's speed run because I got a ton of tweets. I just want to just blow through here. Okay, you tell me the ticker. I'll search it up and share the screen here.
Yeah. Okay. Just give me 1 second. I gotta pull a SOAR up real quick.
I can pull up my watch list here. We got MetaDAO. MetaDAO's been doing well.
Here, BitDot. Okay. Let me get a CA and then we'll get to MetaDAO. Because I do want to do MetaDAO as well.
So maybe while you are working on a CA for me, explain to me what BitDot is, because this launched while we were out of office, and I didn't get a good idea of what it was.
Great question. We're going to do a little live DD right now because you're right. I also didn't get, but independent gaming studio that was discussed actually between when I was at Breakpoint. CPT on fire. Yeah, King's Mentality. I hope you were in chat yesterday looking at CPT, because if you did, or if you're in the MCG Alpha Telegram, you got that update days ago, by the way. But yeah, here's BitDot. It's a gaming studio. Apparently, they have a couple games that are very successful. Like we're talking 4+ million users, I heard. I am working to get BitDot on Thursday, so that's a little bit of alpha for you guys. Is that yeah, shout out. All right, great. I'm glad you may have got CPT in your port. So but yeah, we're gonna hear a little bit more from them because to be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, well
let's
then we'll
see.
hear more from them soon, hopefully. Again, just everyone make sure you are aware this is a very low market cap token. It has very low liquidity, 56K, as is the case for most new tokens, but just be aware of that before making any
Yeah,
decisions.
like anything, we don't like talking about 60K tickers on here, but I think people were looking to figure out what this is. Looks like they have this Nano Neighbors game. I'm just looking at their here. I'll share my and then we'll just take 1 minute to kind of go through their X account here. And then so that's the chart. All right, here we go. Buying more nice. Their next game, Gamble Lair. Gamble Lair is a rogue-like strategy card game, is a potential banger in the making with games like Balatro hitting some insane numbers. Don't know what that game is.
Who tweeted this? Oh, right. Okay.
Right. Do you know who this is? Follower of the show.
Maybe I've seen his stuff.
Here we go. Nano Neighbors is the only game you can gamble on whilst making money without losing money. Okay, that's a bold claim. PD Simulator, free
Well,
public.
it's not gambling then, right?
Yeah, exactly. For unique customization. Buy now on Steam. Okay, buy now on Steam. So let's go to Steam. Let's see if there's any download numbers here or anything like that. Okay, this game was dropped on November 27th. Okay,
indie game for sure.
Indie game for sure. I wonder, okay, here's the developer. Let's see if they have any other games. I don't see any numbers around this. 8 followers. This seems to be the only one.
This
Okay.
one's new though. You said they're a studio, so they must have previous ones, or
Yeah,
I would even say, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, no, let's visit the website. Okay, you're leaving Steam. Yes. Okay, Nano Neighbors. All right, that link doesn't work. I don't know, guys. Not enough here for really me to say much. And BitDot, please, if you're listening to this, make sure your links are updated to your website off of Steam.
Yeah, I mean, look, if we get them on, we get them on. I think we have to do more research offline. If we are in a little bit of a time crunch because Josh has to get off soon, maybe we'll save this for another time.
Yep. All right, you hit it. Then the next thing.
Okay, BitDot. Is there anything else SOAR related we want to cover?
Yeah, let's do AIM real quick because they announced that they're building a physical product. And I don't think that was fully communicated. So AIM off of SOAR, Morpheus. All right.
You could give me the CA for that too.
Yes. The product will speak for itself. Voice first AI wearable with Virtue Innova. Okay. They have this little, they have a video here. Do you want to watch this or what?
Very interesting looking. I mean, yeah, pull it up, maybe 2x the speed here.
Yeah, I'm gonna speed run this. I'll reduce the volume so it doesn't kill.
Looks like I'm in some sort of like boiler room. What's going on here?
I like boiler room sets.
Definitely not video editors.
I kind of like the vibe. It's like out there a little.
Yeah, definitely rave inspired here.
Well, keep in mind this is on 1.75. speed, so the real one is slow.
How long is this video?
2 minutes. All right, so it's just a song. Buy
Yeah.
more in the App Store. Okay.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. The video's not given too much. It's definitely not like a star production quality video here.
Here's what's new in this build: guest mode and persistent sessions, model and voice preferences, favorites for A models, switching. Okay.
We gotta see demos, man. We gotta see some demos of the product.
Yeah, I don't know. Sitting at like 100K market cap, so any kind of demonstration of success here. I don't know if you can try it. Did AIM not show up?
Let's see. No, it's not readily available. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Okay. Let's pull this up. 4 hour. Yeah, I mean, sitting pretty flat.
Yeah.
I don't know if there are there's much supply left to be sold onto this. So if they burn the outstanding tokens, because this was launched on the original version of DRP, you're left with 150K market cap. So again, is the value of this company? You literally want to value companies based on their market cap for this standard, or is this FDV or market cap? I have to look into it. But if this is at fully diluted value of 148K, you have to just factor in the numbers and project how much you guys think individually it's going to make and the different ways it can monetize, et cetera, right? This is all stuff that you guys have to figure out for yourself. Hopefully we can help with that. But I don't know if I've come to a conclusion on the value proposition here yet. So TBD. Okay. Anything else SOAR related, or do we want to rotate to MetaDAO?
I don't think so. I think that's all SOAR related for now.
Okay. MetaDAO, I think across the board is kind of down in general in terms of tokens. The token itself, Meta, is doing pretty good, I would say, all things considered. Yeah, that's a good looking chart. That's a really good looking chart, actually. I love seeing these wicks. Look, every time we get below a certain level, call it $5, you get insta wicks back up. It does not sit below $5 very long, which I think goes to show there are probably lots of entities, liquid funds included, that have limits set anywhere below that, and they're probably just eating up price every time it dips there. So Meta looks good. We know, I think at this point, you can launch a token either. You can launch a token anywhere other than MetaDAO or SOAR and see it have sustained upside. I think this is becoming a standard very quickly, which we foresaw quite a while ago, and there's no surprise here. But yeah, so this chart's looking pretty good. I think the key question was, how can MetaDAO get their revenue numbers up? They've done so well recently, but they've only generated on paper, I think 500K is what people are saying. Not sure if that's true or false, but that's been the question for MetaDAO. But yeah, I think generally you can launch a token now unless it's through SOAR or MetaDAO or has some sort of kick-ass utility, because the market is in a very depressed state, and I think people are very, very cautious on what they bid. So, which is, I think, for the best. I think this has been like in general, like the shakeout and the tourists getting wrecked and leaving has been really good for like holder benefits. So, I am actually happy for the direction we're headed in. MetaDAO, let's see. What about Avicii, Solo? We're just going to speed run these guys. Avicii, go to 12 hours. I know we're down a little bit. Yeah, so Avicii's down. Again, like, I think kind of due for a reset. This went on a really nice run for a while. Well, the market's been bad. So, yeah, I don't know. We're starting to get to an area I would be maybe interested in. Like, this is that first real test of holders right here at 175. Now, I know that's like a good bit away still. So, it depends on how price action looks. Well, we're in this range. We got a nice bounce and reaction off of these levels. So now maybe we see if it ranges over here for a while, and that might be a good first entry. Otherwise, I think I'm looking down, probably into this zone. And then more importantly, if we get down here, especially, I'm pretty interested again in Avicii. So again, bullish, own your own banking rails. This is like the people's neobank is basically how it's being framed. But there's a chart there. Avicii, let's do Solo. I think it's basically back at ICO prices or close to it. And again, I haven't been following this one too closely, although I do think like the value prop is really good here. So Solo, yeah, not far off of ICO prices. Let's see. From the lows, it's up 33%. So I mean, not a bad entry. Not a lot of people are up big on this. So Solo looks decent for an area to start watching. What else? Let's do Umbra OMFG real quick. Privacy again picking up. Mert has been championing it quite a bit. Yeah, so back kind of in that range where it starts to be interesting, not quite testing the lows, but it has started reaching down, just a broader pullback across MetaDAO eco as a whole. And it started catching some bids. So I don't know. Not much to comment on here. It's kind of in no man's land in the middle. So we either got to start seeing some bounces and recovery, or we got to start seeing it come back down to real support here.
Yeah, Crew mentioned that he's unfortunately couldn't make this week, but really soon we'll be on MCG, maybe next week.
Yeah, we got to get updates on all of these. It's been a while. OMFG, one we still haven't had on. I got to reach out to Profit and get these guys on the show. I don't know how we haven't had them on yet. Nonetheless, I think they are anon though, which is not the move right now. Actually, Profit Docs too, which was in other news pretty big. I'm not sure if you saw that, Josh, but Profit Docs during Solana conference.
Yeah, I saw him on the side of the stage at Met Dobby trying to get his mask on.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, but I heard also a rumor that wasn't actually Profit. That was like his co-founder or something.
Yes. Heard that same rumor. Nonetheless, OMFG actually has held up very nicely, I think, compared to the rest of the eco. Look at that. So 11.5 million market cap, and it's been catching nice bounce. So this is a DeFi primitive one. We haven't gone too deep on the show yet because we just haven't had them on. So on my list, I got to get these guys, and I think that kind of covers our main. We did Loyal the other day. We'll do Loyal again. But I think after this, it kind of covers our MetaDAO segment here.
So I understand Loyal now.
Price action.
Yeah. So here's the floor. This is the floor. They're at it now. They've only deployed 100K of the 1.5 million. It's at their discretion how they spend it. But I get Loyal for the first time. So last time Chris came on, he was talking about this Telegram bot that they're making that you can transact with Telegram using Telegram names. And then there was this kind of privacy AI, ChatGPT experience. And those things to me sounded very separated at the time. However, yesterday he came on and he showed that now with the Loyal bot on Telegram, you wake up and it summarizes all your group chats and everything that you need to be paying attention to.
Nice.
And then you can tell it to go pay all my clippers this week for whatever, right? And they'll go out and pay your clippers based on whatever workflows you set up. So then I understood the privacy. The reason why privacy is important is because if you're talking to it about your private Telegram conversations in there's things that you wouldn't want to put in ChatGPT. And so the privacy layer or private LLM layer allows you to, talk about private information and not prompt it, but it's also in a useful sphere. It's in Telegram. So, yeah, I don't know. I still trying to figure it out, but was interesting.
Yeah, and so we'll tell us a little bit about this too. They have they raised a decent amount of money from MetaDAO, as we know, and they said, well, guys, we actually don't need all that money. So what we're going to do now is use it to deploy at a floor, and we're just going to hold this floor. And so that originally, I think, is why we kind of saw this pump back here, up here, because they're like, all right, we're going to start, buying back the chart because we can. And, this vote passed, right? And now we're kind of seeing that here. That's why we see this price action going basically just sideways. You said at their discretion, they're going to deploy an additional 1.4 million into the chart? Or?
Yeah. The idea here is to soak up some tokens for future raises. So they can buy it back here at cheap, and then potentially if prices double, triple what it is now, they can then OTC it to funds and whatnot. And as they've proven out their model and basically raise capital, future capital that way. But, going back to the beginning of this chart, like obviously you have that huge kind of like sell off in those initial candles at the very beginning. And then you have this height driven run, and then again, another sell off back to this floor price. I think a lot of this is just liquidity being sucked out of wherever it is, right? Doesn't matter if you're MetaDAO, doesn't matter if you're a meme coin, whatever token, even Pump is performing terribly. Liquidity is being sucked out of everything just from all these drawdowns. So we're not in the regime where that changes yet.
Yeah, but if they have 1.4 million still left for buybacks, that literally eclipses the entirety of the liquidity. So like,
yes,
I mean, people, I mean, that basically means anyone who's got the ability to sell here can just sell it into this pool. And if I'm understanding this correctly, only $1.4 million can really be sold right now, which they have the liquidity to buy back completely.
Yes, and it's about $179 per 5 minutes, under 23 cents. So that's the DCA that gets applied.
I thought you just said it was discretionary, or is it?
It's discretionary in terms that they can turn it off when they want to, right? They have control over it, but that's the money that's been allocated for this activity. And right now it's under 23 cents. It deploys $179 every 5 minutes. I think what my comments were around liquidity is like, these guys have the liquidity. And that's the point I was making.
And you can actually see it right here, right? I'm at 1.5 mil, $34 a minute, and it is 20% filled. Yeah. So there it is. Okay. And that's the MetaDAO segment. I'm going to speed run some of these tweets I had, and maybe we'll just give like quick overviews. So boom. The Shot, episode 4, prediction markets. One curated startup raising live on stream, pitching to a panel of experts, investors, and researchers. Here are the people that they're pitching to. All while the audience gets to buy in. PM startups apply below. So as you can see, this is the next star raise. We saw their last one was very successful. I'm going to share my screen again just to make sure the volume is enabled, and we'll play this little video. Next raise coming up on Star. Here we go.
Think you're smart? Prove it. 3.2 billion bet on a presidential outcome. 1.7 on the NBA championship. What started as a fringe idea became a primitive. And an entire economy is being built on top of it. Making the future easier to price, cheaper to access, and harder to ignore. So, what do you know? Rise to the call. I'll give my life
Dude, the Star production is so peak, bro. We need
it's so peak. Can you link that real quick in private?
Yeah.
I mean, Surf Cash was great. This guy's figured out that it's all about being close to the best deal flow. That's the key. It's not live streaming. Dude, our live stream slap. So it's not live streaming. It really is project deal flow.
Requesting prediction market teams building terminals, apps, socials, agents/assistants, leverage, liquidity, infra. We're open to surprises. More of the sharks. They got guys from Kalshi, MoonPay, as well as other notable projects here. How it works. The team goes live with their raise. We know about this. Okay. This is pretty cool. So it actually looks like they are still looking to curate more prediction market based projects, but interesting. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, really neat that they're putting a call out there rather than, trying to find the next whatever through some sort of incubator. So
yeah, it's done well. 30K views. As long as this is getting to the right communities, it could happen, right? There's plenty of startup communities on X that would see this and be like, oh, maybe I'm interested. But like you said, deal flow is number one. So how is Adam and team currently working to make sure this deal flow and content's getting to the right hands? Because we want great founders, and great founders want funding. So yeah. Next up, Nathan Alvarez posted something. Here's a Viva update. If you guys want to understand where Viva is going, read this. This super app economy is activating Viva as the connective layer across commerce, rewards, payments, and real revenue. This is how national scale utility is built. Also, in other news, and we'll get into that tweet in a second, we've just opened another Viva store in the center of Santa Cruz de la Sierra, Bolivia. This city is the largest in the country with around 2 million people. It's in its open urban area and rapidly growing population and economy. This location is a high traffic area surrounded by everyday people, families, and workers, one puzzle piece coming together as part of a much bigger picture. The perfect location, massive adoption is coming soon. The infrastructure and foundation are nearly complete as we prepare to launch one of the largest and friendliest cash to crypto on ramps in the world has ever seen. Let's check out this new property. All right, there you go. Again, Viva continues to work on a scale that's unseen before in crypto, and we're excited to number one have them as a sponsor. Number two, just like watch them develop this pretty cool thing. So here you go. You can see their new little graphic here. I'm not sure how long this is. It's pretty long. Okay, yes, it's very long. I love the structure of it. The articles are sick, but I cannot read this right now on stream during a time crunch. Josh, do you have a high level TLDR on this?
You know, I don't. I did see this was about gift cards, though. Is there anything about gift cards in here?
Here, let's watch this video. Unfortunately, because of the time crunch, we can't go through it now, and we've been out of office, so I haven't had the time to actually go and read through this yet. But can you hear this, Josh?
No, the market engine, but just play it real quick. Does it say anything?
We're about to find out. I will share again. All right, let's see.
Welcome to Viva Shop, the market engine of the Super App. A modern marketplace inside the Super App where every product and service connects instantly to the user. Every vendor receives a digital storefront with visibility far beyond street signage. They can pay in local currency for advertising and placement, something
No, I'm lagging here, bro. Oh, dude. Sometimes when I'm looking at really long X articles, this happens. Rip. Okay, my screen is completely frozen.
That's all good. Yeah, guys, I don't even know if I can pull it up right now. Just trying to get a TLDR on this situation. Viva gift cards are live. All right, here we go. All right, so there's a couple things here. Sending to family and friends. I think this use case will be significant. 5 to 500 Bob or Bolivianos. Bonus Club members can now convert their points directly into Viva gift cards exclusive through Viva Wallet. I think this is more Viva gift cards is more of a branding thing, right? Because people understand what gift cards are, but people might not understand what like a Viva token is. So I do like that positioning. Every gift card redemption automatically triggers an open market Viva buy, turning loyalty points into real token demand. So I like this. Bonus Club has 500,000 premium members and generates billions of bonus points per year. Wow, that's incredible. Yeah, this is so again, two things. A, they're positioning it as gift cards instead of, go get token. And B, as soon as the gift card is redeemed by the person, it turns into a buy order on the open market. And I think a lot of this is based on their learnings from the first rollout. I think that's what this is in terms of how they talk about it. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, but that's how I read this.
No, I like it. It's kind of similar to what we saw Bobby do with Dupe. It's not framed as a cryptocurrency. It's framed as a gift card. And just like we talked about with, Notorious Dev for X402. No one cares about the crypto rails. Like, frankly, no one cares. No one wants to hear they're using crypto. They just want things to work. They want it to be beneficial. They want it to add value. So if you can add value, if it works, great. If it's in the background, no one cares if it's crypto. And I think that's what the gift cards kind of achieve here. You get to redeem it. You get your money. You get your perks. Cool. I don't care about crypto. I don't care about it being a Viva coin or whatever. I just want to be able to redeem it and get benefits from it. So yeah, this is, I think, the right way. Next in on the list here, we had a tweet from Street. Network City, our accelerator. Happy to showcase Network City today. Explore here. The philosophy of Street. How long is this? Okay, not too long. Perfect. The philosophy of Street was always to provide a maximum amount of value to companies on ERCS, an epicenter of innovation, an interconnected city of startups pulling each other up. This is exactly how YC and other good accelerators operate, and we will mimic it even better than they do with all of our efforts. If you like ERCS company, you will not only have a strong backing from us, you will be introduced into an ecosystem companies building at the frontier of this sector. Tokenizing is heavy step for the most Web 2 startups right now. This network is a step into the right direction of removing the stigma around crypto. Goals for the next year: buy a small campus in San Francisco for ERCS startups to work in for free. Facilitate 100 million in B2B deals for ERCS startups. This is what we're envisioning by end of year. Interconnected. This is final tweet. Okay. So yeah, so Street's kind of pushing down this accelerator program, similar to how YC does it. And I'll share this tab. Super cool. Oh, look at this. So this is like the campus per se. Apply for batch S1. You'll have Street Labs in the middle. Star.fun over here. Look at that. Open Droids, Cled AI, Noise, and they're kind of all interconnected. Look at that.
Open Droids. What's that?
That's the robotics that's going to be launching soon. Robotics company out of San Francisco building at the frontier of humanoids coming soon. This might be batch 1 or 2. We know Cled's kind of going to be batch 2. We see Noise over here. This is pretty cool. On Base, where you can IPO from your desk, backed by Coinbase and other cool angels. Imagine if Twitch, Kickstarter, and NASDAQ had a baby. This is a really cool like website here, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feels like SimCity. Okay, we should do an Open Droids thing. Maybe not on the stream, but tomorrow or something.
Yeah, and gotta chat with Maya too. Gotta get them on the show. We gotta get all these on the show.
Yeah, let's ping Maya and see if we can talk about Open Droids whenever they're launching. Yeah, we'll do that.
But this is super cool. Again, it kind of is the vision of Street. They're doing an accelerator program here where they have this campus. They have a lot of cool startups come on, and they all connect them with each other to make sure that they're working and operating to the best of their ability. So pretty cool depiction here on the website. Just wanted to cover that. Orgo just dropped an update that was mentioned here in the chat. So shout out to Crypto Jones, who said, did y'all see the Orgo thread dropped about a half an hour ago, which I had not until you mentioned it. So we'll run through that real quick. It's a change log. We see that Orgo started doing these change logs. We made agents faster and more stable, 2x faster boot times. Chrome now default stability improvements. And you can read here, they ship core infrastructure improvements for faster boot times and enhanced stability, optimized desktop images with 2x faster P50 boot times to reduce memory footprint, added Google Chrome as the default browser, multiple backend improvement for agent infrastructure reliability. And you can read more here on the chain log. Again, some technical updates for the technical bros when it comes to Orgo, but cool stuff there. What else, man? What else? We got 5 minutes or so. Josh, any closing thoughts you want to give? Oh, there is one more thing. This is happening today, so I'll highlight it. Today at 4 p.m., Mercy's going to be talking with Studhome and some of the other guys about Fair.club. This is super cool. I'm actually really excited for this. This is basically an angel-focused platform for private equities. We know private equity deal flow, et cetera, has been very bad for the average person. This, I think, sets out to change it. More information today. But Fair.club is something to follow. It's a equity launchpad, and it's going to be focused on angels, right? So angel investing. If Josh wanted to angel invest in a company, if, Crypto Jones or Vincent or, any of the guys in the chat wanted to angel invest in a company, you'll have the opportunity. Again, gearing towards the ownership, equities, private equity market we're seeing come on chain. They're talking about this at 4 p.m. Definitely tune in. Veridot Club is the name of the project. It's something I'm very excited in personally. I do have an account set up recently, and I have one referral code left, which I have sent out to a friend, waiting for him to get back to me. But if he doesn't get back in the next day, then maybe I will somehow get it to someone here. I don't want to give away all my ref codes because it's actually kind of exclusive. But that being said, yeah, something to pay attention to. Good updates and a very exciting primitive and platform. Again, reinforces the direction we're headed in crypto for on-chain private equity and whatnot. Okay. I have a lot more. I could go on forever about with these updates, but I know Josh, you're gearing up to head off soon.
Do you think we could see meme coins emerging with prediction markets? Merging with prediction markets? No.
Isn't that what Believe kind of had the idea of doing?
Why would a successful prediction market ever merge with a meme coin? I do not see that.
Do you think we could see meme coins merging with prediction markets? Yeah, unless there's some clarity on that question, I'd also go with no.
Yeah. I think, guys, let's wrap it up. I mean, Dom, we got streams tomorrow and for the rest of the week. Got to keep some content back. But yeah, I think I'm again a thread. If you don't have all these projects on a watch list, organize them by eco. So MetaDAO eco, list them, Star.fun eco, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah.
Sorry, was my volume on?
Yeah, no, you're good. I can't hear that, but that's okay. We got to end it here anyways, so we'll rip.
All right, guys. Appreciate you guys coming on as always. Finally back in. I think actually, you know, we'll probably only be back for like a week before we have the Christmas time and break or whatnot. But successful trip to the UAE. It was a fun time, and I'm glad to be back. I think we're about to really kickstart and launch into the new year. Hopefully, we got more exciting stuff coming, and no matter what, we'll be here rocking it out with you guys. So much love.
Peace.